So today I'm going to talk about a prop trading firm called Trade the Pool. And to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of them, of any prop trading firm, because the rules are designed essentially for you to lose. They did a study at Goldman Sachs 2 years ago on prop trading firms. And out of 200,000 people that were doing prop trading firms, quote unquote, evaluations or testing periods, only about 900 passed, something like that. And that's just past the initial phase to get funded. So essentially 900 people passed. Now, how many of those 900 actually made money? Who knows? It's probably minimal at best. But just to show you that the money is being made on your evaluation. Now, not everyone's going to go for the largest evaluation. You might go for the smallest, and then you'll see. And they do have a free trial. But some of the things you want to look at when you're looking at Trade the Pool is basically, it's a prop trading firm. What they're doing is letting you use a demo account. And on that demo account, it's just basically watching you trade. And at that point, what they'll do is take your numbers on a daily basis, interactively, and say, oh, have you made money? Have you lost money? They'll close it out. And you're just playing a video game for X amount of dollars. So let's just take, one of their larger accounts, because obviously if you're going to do a $5,000 account, it's only going to cost you roughly $59 or $47, depending on which plan you go on, which is, if you want to risk it, go ahead. That's fine with me. But anybody who decides that they're going to go for their quote unquote $200,000 account trial for the test period cost, it's $1,475 for a flexible account, or for $1,200 for a discipline account. So, which makes no sense to me. So either you're flexible or you're disciplined. So if you're disciplined, which is what you really should be doing when you're actually trying to trade for a living, you pay $1,200. But if you're a buffoon and you're just throwing stuff up there and they know you're going to waste the money, I don't know if that's what they mean by it or what, but it just seems absolutely stupid to me. On that $200,000 account, your target to reach is $12,000. Now, that's not a lot of money. It's, you're talking about, at that point, you're roughly going in there for a 6% return on your money. So you're not talking about a tremendous amount. It's not, it's not the hardest thing to do whatsoever. But at the same time, you have to be smart about it. Now, your daily pause. What a daily pause is that if you basically, on one trade, two trade, 10 trades, whatever it's going to be, whatever your cumulative loss is. So on the flexible account, it's $4,000, which realistically, if you've lost $4,000 in the day, and I've done that, but on bigger accounts and stuff, but if you've lost $4,000 on a day, you should call it a day. On a discipline account, it's only 1%. So you're basically looking and say, okay, I'm going to lose $2,000, and I'm going to call it a day. So, that's not a lot to lose on a trade, to be honest with you. Your max loss, okay, basically says that you're done. You've lost, you've basically crapped out at that point, is $8,000. And that's on the flexible account. On the discipline account, that's $6,000. That's 3%. If you go down 3%, you've lost. So that's a little bit crazy in my opinion. Now, I'm not sure why they put minimum positions in there. I understand you're closing out the positions, okay? I've read a lot of the reviews and they're like, oh, I already made it, blah, 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 in one day. Well, I fail to believe that. Because, if you made it in one day, that means you did 10 trades. You went in there 10 times and you won 50% of those trades. So I think a lot of those reviews that come out there, honest reviews and stuff like that, I think they're all bullshit, to be honest with you. Because if I have to do a minimum of 10 positions, fine. I'm not going to, and with these rules, I'm not going to be going in there and just saying, oh yeah, let me try this, let me try that. Because below that, you have to have a consistency of 50%. That means to pass it, 10 trades have to be profitable. So if you go in there and you get a $10,000 winner, and then the next, 7 trades are losers but small, and then you hit another trade with another $5,000 winner, yeah, you'll be up $12,000, but you're only 2 out of 10 or 2 out of 9 at that point. So it's almost impossible for you to get to 50%. So when I read these reviews and they're like, "Oh yeah, I passed their test in one day," it's bullshit. I can guarantee you it's bullshit. There's no way, because if you hit a winner, let's say it's Tesla or something or Palantir, which I love, and you happen to get a good runner, yeah, you're gonna make $12,000. 6% is not the hardest thing, especially if you're leveraging out the account. So read the reviews with an honest opinion about it. Minimum you got to hold the stock is 30 seconds. You know what? It's a rule for some unknown reason, which doesn't make sense to me. If you want to hold it for 30 seconds, be my guest. If you don't, if you feel like you got into the stock at the wrong time, and I've pressed wrong buttons too, and you want to get out in 2 seconds, or you're playing the break of day, or you're playing break of the low of the day, it hits your trend line. Sometimes you want to get out immediately. So where you're literally sitting on pennies, and if it goes the other way on you, you want to get out of there right away. Now, the minimum with the drawdown, like I said, the consistency's got to be 50%. But the minimum with the draw period is 14 days. So even if you're making money, all right, let's just say you pass the test and everything, okay? You've got fully funded at $200,000, and now you decide that you're going to go and become their quote-unquote trader with $200,000, okay? Your minimum draw period is 14 days, and you've got to remain consistent 50% to make a draw. 50%, okay? And then out of that, you've got to have a minimum of 0.5 profit for 3 of those days. So you could have a stock, make 20 grand on it, let's just say. But if you don't have a minimum profit for 3 days of 0.5%, and you do nothing the other 13 days, okay, you can't draw out your money. So understand that. I have a $200,000 account. I hit a home run beyond belief, and I'm like, I just want that money. First off, I can't touch it for 14 days on day one. Number 2 is I've got to keep trading. I've got to have 2 more days that I draw 0.5% per day. So that means on each one of those days, I've got to make $500 one way or the other on 2 more days. So if I don't trade the rest of the 13 days, I can't take my money out yet. On top of that, I've got to hit at least 2 out of 4, 3 out of 6 days. I've got to be consistent on 3 out of those 6 days. So I got to do a minimum of 3 days. So I've got to be profitable on 3 of those 6 days. So out of 14 days, they're forcing me to trade a week and an extra day. Guaranteed. Now that 14 days, I don't know if that's business days, and now we're stretching it out to 3 weeks, or is it just 14 calendar days? It doesn't say, but it doesn't make any sense, okay? Again, your consistency has got to be 15%. So in 14 days, you've got to trade a minimum of 6 days. Minimum. Actually 3 days, okay? You've got to trade a minimum of 3 days, okay? And be consistent on those 3 days, or else you're going to keep rolling to another day, another day, another day, another day. So every day you lose, you've got to basically get another winning day. So like I said, you could be up 20 grand and you might never be able to pull that money out, which is absolutely ridiculous. That rule is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, again, the payout split, so let's just say, and we're talking hypotheticals. If I make $20,000, all right, I'm only able to get 14,000 of it, and they keep 6 grand of it. Where's that coming from? You know what I'm saying? I get it. A 70-30 split is phenomenal, but still. So those are some of the things that are transparent that you can look at. Now, some of the things that they don't tell you about, okay? And every prop trading firm has their little nonsense behind the windows and stuff like that, that they don't tell you what's going on. The system that they're using, now you can trade stocks, okay? Any stock you want. From what I heard, you can short it and stuff. So that's good. They don't charge you a finder's fee because it's a demo, obviously. When you're probably really trading, when you have a funded account, you will get charged a finder's fee. Everybody charges you a finder's fee. What they don't tell you, and this is the most important thing you have to understand, is that where they're getting their clearing through. How are they processing their orders, or quote unquote? They're going to, they're going to. And if you don't believe me, go here. Go to the $5,000 account and then go to disciplined or flexible. And you see, it's $59 to start now, $47 to start now. If you don't believe me, go there, sign up. I could care less, okay? I'm not making $1 on this thing, and I probably won't because I'm not a big fan of that, okay? Unless they can prove it otherwise, all right? The biggest problem with this is, okay, is that number one, what they don't tell you about is that, okay, we're going to have a spread and we're going to control that spread, because as much as they want to say that it's going live to the market, you're doing a demo account. And on any demo account, they can control the flow of information and the flow of pricing. Whether you're holding it off for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, you can readjust the numbers, and then your algorithms behind it. And you got to remember, when you've been dealing with the market for a long time, you understand how the market makers and how the brokerage houses, as well as the financial institutions, they set up trainers. So on those trainers are geared with software, and the software is so high proprietary that they can take it, and if they want you to win, they can make you win. Now, I'm not saying that they can finagle the markets. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when they get the data, by the time the data comes into their server and they take that data and reapply it into their system, now you can take a stock trading at a $50 by 51, hypothetical again, I'm just throwing out a quick number, and you can hold it, readjust those numbers to make it 50-50 by 51.50, depending on how you want to do it. So here I'm throwing in an order, and at that point, I can put whatever pricing I want on there to make it higher or lower for you to reduce your profit. And I promise you this much, okay? They're making money on the potential of you paying for that audition or that quote unquote demo account. They're not making money off of quote unquote having someone go in there and getting a demo account and then becoming a funded trader. There's no reason to, okay? Every prop firm, and they've done studies on this, they've done research on it, makes literally 100% of their money, 100% just on the demo accounts. So there used to be a company out there. It was called Surge Trader, and they just went bankrupt, or they just disappeared, one or the other. And the last year that they were in business, they made somewhere in upwards of $80 million. Out of that $80 million, guess how much was essentially from their demos, their quote unquote practice demos? $80 million. They made absolutely $0 when it came down to actually a split profit. So these guys can say, yeah, it's a 99-1 split. It wouldn't make a difference, okay? You're not making any money off of it. They're not making any money off of it, okay? So when you look at Surge Trader, they made all their money knowing full well that you were going to crap out, and hopefully that you would basically buy into it one more time, because guess what? It's a lot easier for you to invest $47 today, okay? And then next month, try another $47. And then the next month, try another $47. And then, hey, you know what? I think I'm getting pretty good at this. Let me try the $50,000. Now that's only $230, okay? The $100,000, that's $435. Now imagine I get a $430, for $100,000. Where else can I buy that? Well, you're an idiot then at that point, because now you have people who actually spend $1,100 for a discipline account and $1,500 to play a video game that you're gonna lose. You're basically playing a slot machine. That's all you're doing. So to me, it's absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like I said, anybody who does it is probably as dumb as possible. But hey, that's your thing, not mine, okay? And like I said, when you put all these rules into it, you have to be really, really smart about how you do this. Now, are there going to be people just based on sheer numbers that can pass this? Yeah, okay. There's going to be people who can find the time. All right, remember, it's time too. Okay, you can't sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to look at my stocks. You have to be vigilant in terms of making sure that you're walking a fine line. Okay, and now am I going to be able to go there and say, okay, fine, I'm going to be able to do this with time, with the potential that I can, get a fully funded account, number one. Number two is, once you get the fully funded account, okay, am I going to make money? How am I going to make money? At that point, my max loss is there. So once I get a max loss, I'm saying, I'm gone. So at 4% or 3%, you get a lousy day. Guess what? You're done. And then on top of that, you have to wait 14 days. And then there's other rules on top of it. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you want to spend the $47 or $59, whatever one it is, okay? If that's what you want to spend and just play around and get to see what kind of tools they have, yeah, fine. As long as you know, you're more than likely going to lose your money, okay? I mean, if there's anybody out there that's actually verifiably, okay, able to prove that they actually passed this and made money. Now, obviously, I don't want someone saying that, I made money on it, and you can't prove it one way or the other, because that's nonsense, because obviously everybody working there will probably send an email, I made $4 million last year, some shit, you know what I'm saying? So if there's anybody that can prove that, be my guest. Show me your P&L statements on that. Show me the cash out checks. Show me the transfers, and then I'll believe you. But other than that, I can promise you, you're not going to see anybody responding to this showing me actual proof that they made money on this. I can promise you that much. So again, if you want to spend the $59, they have plenty of tools. You can sign up for a free demo on this account. So if you want to look at the tools and the education that they have, everybody comes up with tools and education. The more you show, the more, legitimate you look. That's the truth, okay? But you can find all those tools, all those educational things on the internet, on YouTube and whatnot. There's so many videos out there. There's so many books out there. So, like I said, if you want to spend the $59 because everything's more centralized than that, yeah, go ahead. But remember what I'm saying is that, these businesses are built to get your money from the test. They're not built to become your partner. No way, shape, or form at all. Because at this point, guess what? They're making money if you never make a dollar. So, my thing is, if I'm going to make money off of you to start with, why am I going to trade with you if I know you're going to lose money? It's stupid. There's other ways of doing it where you can leverage out your money, save your money. And yeah, you're right. $25,000 PDT rule. But there's ways to get around that. There's companies out there that'll fully fund you, but obviously it's not a test. So you have to be prepared to trade. You know what I'm saying? One of the companies that I got involved with a long time ago, friends of mine told me about it, was that you can go in there and with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 get funded up to $150,000 in real cash. Okay. Now again, Can you lose your money? Yeah, but it's your money. Okay, so but that's something I'm just deviating off of. It has nothing to do with anything. But like I said, I would not waste $59, $1,100, anything. So I hope this helps. And to be honest with you, like I said, trade the pool. I don't get it. Thanks.